Tae-sung stood at the observation window of the space station, watching Earth die below him. The blue planet that humanity had called home for millions of years was now covered in brown and gray clouds. Red storms swirled across the continents and the oceans looked dark and sick. He had been the captain of this station for 5 years. In that time, he had watched things get worse and worse. The reports came in every day, each one more terrible than the last. Cities were being abandoned. Crops were failing. The air was becoming poison. "Captain, we have the latest numbers from Dr. Kwan," said a young officer behind him. Her voice shook a little. Tae-sung turned away from the window. He already knew the numbers would be bad. "Tell me." 18 months, sir. Maybe less. After that, the atmosphere will be too damaged. Anyone still on Earth will die. 18 months. 8 billion people. There was nowhere for them to go. Dr. Hana Kwan entered the command center a few minutes later. She looked tired. Everyone looked tired these days. She carried her datapad, but Tae-sung knew she had already memorized every terrible fact on it. "The solar radiation is getting stronger," Hana said without greeting. "The anomaly we detected 6 months ago is not stopping. It is getting worse. The radiation is destroying what is left of the ozone layer. Soon it will cook the surface of the planet." "Can we stop it?" Tae-sung asked, even though he knew the answer. "No, we do not have the technology. We do not have the time. We do not have anything." Hana sat down heavily. "I have run the numbers 1,000 times. Every model says the same thing. Earth is finished." Ambassador Yuna Park arrived on the station that afternoon. She came from the last round of negotiations with the human colony worlds. Her face told Tae-sung everything before she even spoke. "They said no," Yuna said quietly. She looked like she had aged 10 years in the past month. "All of them. Mars Colony, Titan Station, the Europa settlements, even New Sol on Proxima. They all refused to send help." "Did you tell them 8 billion people will die?" Tae-sung felt anger rising in his chest. "I told them everything. I begged them. I showed them the children, the families, the people who just want to live." Yuna's voice broke. "They said Earth exploited them for too long. They said Earth took their resources, their people, their freedom when the colonies were being built. They said now Earth can face its own problems alone." Tae-sung wanted to scream. He wanted to break something. But he was a captain, and captains had to stay calm. "What about evacuation? Can we at least save some people?" Hana shook her head. "We have maybe 200 ships that can carry people off-world. Each ship can take about 500 people if we pack them in. That is 100,000 people. Out of 8 billion. The math was simple and horrible. They could save 1 out of every 80,000 people. How would they choose? How could anyone choose? "We are going to die," Yuna said softly. "All of us. And the colonies do not care." For 3 days, the command center was quiet. People did their jobs because that was all they knew how to do. But there was no hope in their eyes. Tae-sung sent messages to every government, every organization, every person with power he could think of. No one had answers. No one had solutions. On the 4th day, the sensors detected something. "Captain, we have unknown ships entering the solar system," the sensor officer called out. "Multiple contacts. Large ones." Tae-sung felt his heart beat faster. "Are they human?" "No, sir. The signatures are completely unknown. I have never seen anything like this." The room went silent. In all of human history, they had never found another intelligent species. Humans had explored hundreds of star systems and found nothing but empty planets and simple bacteria. And now, when Earth was dying, aliens were coming. "Put them on screen," Tae-sung ordered. The main display showed 12 ships. They were beautiful and strange. Each one looked like it was made of crystal and light. They were huge, each one larger than any human ship ever built. They glowed with soft blue and purple colors that shifted and changed. "Are they hostile?" Hana asked. "Unknown. They are not powering weapons. They are just waiting." Then the communication systems came alive with sound. But it was not words, it was music. Harmonics. Frequencies that rose and fell in patterns that somehow felt like language. The sound filled the command center and everyone stopped to listen. "Can we understand it?" Yuna asked. The AI systems worked for several minutes analyzing the patterns. Then text began appearing on screens throughout the station. "People of Earth. We are the Velorn. We have traveled far to find you. We know your planet is dying. We know your people face extinction. We have come to help." Tae-sung read the words 3 times. Help? Why would aliens help them? What did they want? More harmonic sounds came through, and more words appeared. We bring technology to save your atmosphere. We bring shields to protect you from the radiation. We bring life back to your world. We ask for nothing in return. All civilizations deserve a chance to learn from their mistakes. It is a trick, someone said. It has to be a trick. But Hana was reading data coming from the alien ships. Captain, I am detecting massive energy readings. These ships? They have power sources we cannot even understand. If they wanted to destroy us, we would already be dead. Yuna stepped forward. We need to respond. As ambassador, I should speak for Earth. Taesung nodded. Tell them we accept their help. Tell them humanity is grateful. Ask them what they need from us. Yuna spoke into the communication system, and the AI translated her words into the harmonic language of the Valorn. The response came, quickly, we need only your permission to begin. We will heal your world. This is what we do. This is who we are. Over the next hours, the Valorn ships moved into position around Earth. They deployed thousands of devices that looked like floating crystals. Each crystal began to glow and pulse with energy. Hana watched her instruments in amazement. The atmospheric readings are changing, she said with wonder in her voice. The radiation levels are dropping. The storms are weakening. Captain, it is working. They are actually saving Earth. Taesung watched the planet below. For the first time in years, he saw the clouds beginning to break apart. He saw blue sky appearing in patches. He saw the red storms fading away. Why? He whispered. Why would they do this for us? On the screen, new words appeared from the Valorn. Because someone once saved us, now we save others. This is the way. And Earth began to heal. 5 years had passed since the Valorn arrived. Earth was alive again. Admiral Taesung walked through the restored forests of what had once been a dead wasteland. Trees grew tall and green around him. Birds sang in the branches. A stream flowed nearby, its water clear and pure. It seemed impossible, but it was real. The Valorn had done more than just save the atmosphere. They had helped restore the oceans, clean the soil, and bring back the plants and animals. They had worked alongside humans every day, teaching them how to use the crystal technology, showing them how to maintain the atmospheric processors and energy shields. Jinbaek was one of the humans who worked closest with the Valorn. He was a young engineer who had learned their technology faster than anyone else. He stood now beside a Valorn named Thun, examining one of the atmospheric processors that floated high above the city. The harmonics need to be tuned every 6 months. Thun's voice came through the translator as musical sounds. The Valorn looked like a being made of living crystal, standing about 7 feet tall. Light moved through its body in patterns that Jin had learned to read as emotions. Right now Thun seemed content, the light flowing in gentle waves. I understand, Jin said, making notes on his datapad. But Thun, I need to ask you something. Why did your people do this? What do you get from saving us? The light patterns in Thun's body changed, becoming slower and deeper. We get to continue the cycle. Long ago, before your species existed, the Valorn were dying. Our star was collapsing. We had no way to save ourselves. Then another species came. Beings we called the First Ones. They saved us and asked for nothing. They told us only one thing. Save others as you have been saved. Jin felt a chill run through him. You are paying it forward. Yes, that is a good way to say it. We have saved 43 civilizations now. We hope they will each save others when they can. The gift must keep moving. On the other side of Earth, in a Valorn ship that orbited near the moon, Mina Choi was learning about Valorn culture and philosophy. She had volunteered to live among them for 3 years, to truly understand these beings who had saved humanity. Mina had learned that the Valorn did not have families the way humans did. They formed into harmonic groups where each Valorn's frequency complemented the others. They did not eat food, but absorbed energy directly from light and radiation. They lived for thousands of years and valued patience above all things. But Mina had also learned something troubling. You are dying, she said to her teacher, a Valorn elder named Pax. Your whole species is dying slowly. Pax's light patterns showed sadness, a dark blue that pulsed slowly through the crystal body. Yes, we have a flaw in our genetic structure. Each generation we become a little weaker. Our crystals become more fragile. We lose our ability to harmonize. In perhaps 5,000 of your years there will be no more Valorn. But you came to save us anyway, Mina said, feeling tears in her eyes. You are dying and you still traveled across the galaxy to save us. What else should we do? Pax asked simply. Should we stop being who we are because we will not last forever? That makes no sense. We save others because that is what gives meaning to our existence. Mina made a decision in that moment. She sent a message to Earth, to every scientist, every leader, every person who could help. The message was simple. They saved us. Now we must save them. Admiral Tae-sung called a meeting of all Earth's governments in the colony worlds. For the first time since the Valorn arrived, representatives from Mars, Titan, and the other colonies agreed to come. They could not ignore what the Valorn had done. The Valorn are dying, Tae-sung told the assembly. They have a genetic problem that will eventually destroy them. They knew this when they came to save us. They chose to help us anyway. A representative from Mars colony stood up. What can we do? We are not as advanced as they are. Maybe not, said a voice from the back. Dr. Hana Kwan stepped forward. But we have something they do not. We have genetic diversity. We have billions of minds working on this problem. We have determination. And we have gratitude. Hana presented her plan. She had been working with Jin Beck and a team of the best scientists from Earth and all the colonies. They had studied the Valorn genetic structure for months. It was incredibly complex, but they thought they saw a solution. The Valorn crystals are living structures, similar to our DNA but based on silicon and exotic elements. The flaw is in how they replicate and pass on information. But if we can introduce a correction sequence, a kind of genetic patch, we might be able to stop the degradation. How long will it take? Asked Una Park, who had become the chief ambassador to the Valorn. Years, maybe decades. But we have to try. The vote was unanimous. Every human government, every colony, every organization pledged resources to save the Valorn. It was the first time in a century that humanity was completely united in purpose. Jin Beck worked 18 hours a day in the laboratory. Mina Choi consulted with Valorn elders to understand the deepest parts of their biology. Hana Kwan coordinated thousands of researchers across dozens of worlds. Admiral Tae-sung made sure they had everything they needed. 3 years later, they had a prototype. The test subject was a young Valorn named Kes, who had volunteered immediately. If this can save my people, Kes had said through musical tones, then my life is well spent, success or failure. The procedure took 6 hours. Human doctors and Valorn worked together, introducing the correction sequence into Kes's crystalline structure. They used a combination of Valorn harmonic manipulation and human genetic engineering, 2 completely different approaches working as one. When it was done, they waited. For 3 days, Kes remained in isolation while the correction sequence worked through the crystal lattice. On the 4th day, Kes emerged. The Valorn's crystal body glowed brighter than before. The light patterns moved with more energy, more life. The harmonic resonance was perfect, clear, beautiful. It worked, Jin Beck said, barely believing it. It actually worked. Within months, every Valorn who wanted the treatment received it. The results were the same every time. The genetic flaw was corrected. The Valorn would not die out after all. In a ceremony on Earth, the Valorn elders met with human leaders. Pax spoke for all the Valorn. The harmonic sounds translated into human language. You have given us our future back. We came to save you, but you have saved us in return. This is beyond anything we imagined. How can we thank you? Admiral Tae-sung stepped forward. He was older now, his hair turning gray, but his voice was strong. You do not need to thank us. You showed us something more important than technology or science. You showed us what it means to help others without expecting anything in return. You taught us compassion on a scale we never understood. Beside him, Mina Choi spoke. We make a vow to you and to the galaxy. We will become the people you believed we could be. We will help others as you helped us. We will spread this gift, this idea, to every corner of space. The Valorn saved humanity once. Now humanity will make sure that spirit of salvation never dies. The Valorn resonated together, creating a harmonic sound so beautiful that many humans wept. In that sound was gratitude, joy, and hope for the future. Earth and the Valorn had saved each other. But more importantly, they had started something new. A philosophy, a movement, an idea that would spread across the stars. The age of gratitude had begun. 50 years had passed since the Valorn saved Earth. The galaxy was different now, and humanity was at the center of that change. Dr. Arasong stood in her laboratory on Europa Station. looking at the genetic data on her screens. She had been born the year the Velorn arrived, part of the first generation that grew up knowing aliens existed and that kindness could cross the stars. Her parents had told her the stories of the dying Earth and the miracle that saved it. Those stories had shaped her entire life. Now she led the Human Restoration Initiative, a program dedicated to understanding and improving life across all the human worlds. But her latest project was more ambitious than anything humanity had attempted before. "Are you sure about this?" her assistant asked. "If we are wrong, we could make things worse." "We are not wrong," Ara said confidently. "The Velorn genetic correction is stable. It has been stable for 50 years. But I have found something in the data. A way to make it even better. A way to make the Velorn stronger than they ever were." She had spent 10 years studying the corrected Velorn genetics. The original human solution had stopped the degradation, but Ara believed they could do more. She had found a way to enhance the crystal structure itself, to make it more resilient, more adaptable. The Velorn would not just survive, they would thrive. When she presented her findings to the Velorn Council, they were silent for a long time. Then Payax, now ancient even by Velorn standards, spoke through harmonics. "You have given us life. Now you offer us more than life. You offer us strength." "Why?" Ara smiled. "Because you deserve it. Because you gave everything to save us when we deserved nothing. This is the least we can do." The enhanced genetic treatment was offered to every Velorn. Within 5 years, the entire species had been transformed. Their crystals glowed brighter. Their harmonics were richer. They could survive in environments that would have killed them before. The Velorn had been saved twice by humanity. But humanity was not just focused on the Velorn. They were looking outward, to the galaxy itself. Captain Wuhan stood on the bridge of the Gratitude, the first ship in humanity's new aid fleet. The ship was massive, carrying medical supplies, construction equipment, food synthesizers, energy generators, and teams of experts in every field imaginable. It was not a warship. It was not a cargo vessel. It was something new, a ship built entirely to help others. "Captain, we are receiving a distress signal," his communications officer said. "It is coming from a system about 3 light years away." "The signal is not human or Velorn." Wuhan felt his pulse quicken. This was what they had been waiting for. "What does the signal say?" "It is a plea for help. The planet is experiencing a plague. Millions are dying. They are asking if anyone can hear them, if anyone can save them." "Set course immediately," Wuhan ordered. "Maximum speed. And send a message back. Tell them help is coming." The Gratitude arrived in the Thrin system 4 days later. The planet below was home to an insectoid species that had developed technology similar to Earth's 20th century. They had radios, aircraft, and basic computers. They also had a disease that was killing them by the thousands every day. Wuhan met with the Thrin leaders in their capital city. The Thrin were about 4 feet tall with 6 legs and compound eyes. They communicated through clicking sounds and pheromones that human translators had to work hard to interpret. "You came," the Thrin Queen said, and even through the translation, Wuhan could hear the disbelief. "We sent our signal into the dark, hoping someone might hear. We did not believe anyone would come." "We heard," Wuhan said gently, "and we are here to help. Our doctors are already studying your plague. Our medical technology is advanced. We will find a cure. What do you want in return?" the Queen asked. "What resources must we give you?" "What territory?" Wuhan shook his head. "Nothing. We want nothing from you. We help because that is what we do. Someone once helped us when we were dying. Now we help others." The Thrin Queen was silent for a long moment. Then she began to weep, her compound eyes glistening with tears. Within 3 weeks, human doctors had developed a cure for the plague. Within 3 months, the disease was eliminated. The Thrin population began to recover. But more than that, the Thrin had learned something new, that species could help each other without demanding payment or conquest. Lin watched the news reports from aboard her transport ship. She had grown up on Mars Colony, part of the generation that had refused to help Earth when the planet was dying. That guilt had haunted her entire life. When the Gratitude fleets were announced, she had been one of the first to volunteer. Now she was traveling back to Earth after helping coordinate aid to the Thrin. She was going home to help rebuild the relationship between Earth and its colonies, to heal the wounds that had divided humanity for so long. When she arrived on Earth, she was surprised by what she found. The planet was beautiful. more beautiful than any historical picture she had seen. But more than that, it was busy. Ships came and went constantly. Humans from every colony world worked together on dozens of projects. The old anger and resentment were fading away, replaced by something better: shared purpose. "We were wrong to abandon Earth," a Mars colony representative said at a reconciliation ceremony. "We let old hurts guide us instead of compassion. The Valorn showed us a better way. Now Earth shows us that same way, helping species they have never met, expecting nothing in return. We want to be part of that. We want to help too." One by one, the colony worlds joined the Gratitude Initiative. More aid ships were built. More teams were trained. Humanity was united in a way it had never been before. The news spread quickly through the explored regions of space. Humans had saved the Thrinn. Humans had helped the Valorn. Humans were offering aid to anyone who needed it. Other species started to notice. The Mokari, a species of telepathic beings, sent ambassadors to Earth. "We have watched your actions." Their leader communicated directly into human minds. "You help others without conquest. This is rare. This is valuable. We wish to learn from you." The Nocton, massive creatures that lived in the atmospheres of gas giants, made contact through long-range signals. "Our young are dying from radiation exposure. Can you help us as you helped the Thrinn?" The answer was always yes. Within a decade, humanity had helped 17 different species with problems ranging from disease to environmental collapse to technological accidents. And something remarkable happened. Those species started helping others too. The Thrinn, grateful for their salvation, developed their own aid programs. When a neighboring species faced a famine, the Thrinn sent food and farming experts. The Mokari used their telepathic abilities to help species suffering from mental health crises. The Nocton shared their knowledge of atmospheric science with others. Dr. Era Song watched the data come in from across the galaxy. She was older now, her hair showing streaks of gray, but her eyes were bright with excitement. "It is spreading," she told her team. "The idea is spreading. Every species we help goes on to help others. The Valorn started this with Earth. Earth spread it to others. Now those others are spreading it further. It is like a chain reaction." On Europa Station, she compiled a report that would change galactic history. She called it The Gratitude Cascade: How One Act of Kindness Transformed the Galaxy. The report was simple but powerful. It showed how the Valorn's decision to save Earth had led to Earth saving the Thrinn. The Thrinn had then helped 3 other species. Those 3 species had helped 9 more. Those 9 had helped 27. The numbers grew exponentially. "If this continues," Ara wrote in her conclusion, "within 2 centuries every known civilization in the galaxy will be part of this network of mutual aid." The Valorn changed more than Earth. They changed the entire galaxy's understanding of what it means to be intelligent life. Captain Wu Han read the report aboard the Gratitude as his ship headed toward its next mission. He thought about Admiral Tae Sung, who had died peacefully 5 years ago, knowing that his species had become something greater than it had been. He thought about the Valorn, who still traveled the stars helping others, now joined by humans and dozens of other species. He thought about the simple message that had started it all. All civilizations deserve a chance to learn from their mistakes. And he smiled, because humanity had learned. They had learned so well. 200 years after the Valorn saved Earth, the galaxy had transformed into something no one could have imagined. Ambassador Su Huang walked through the halls of the Galactic Union Council Station, her footsteps echoing on the polished floors. The station floated in neutral space, far from any star system, a place where dozens of species could meet as equals. She had been humanity's representative here for 10 years, and she still marveled at what she saw every day. Beings from 47 different species worked together in these halls. Insectoids like the Thrinn, crystalline beings like the Valorn, aquatic species in water-filled suits, gas cloud beings that existed in specially designed chambers, telepaths, hive minds, and individual consciousness of every type imaginable. They all came together here, united by a single principle: help each other. Su Huang entered the main council chamber for the day's session. The topic was important, perhaps the most important vote in the Galactic Union's history. She had spent months preparing for this moment. The chamber fell silent as she took her place at the human delegation's platform. Above her, Holographic displays showed the faces and forms of representatives from every member species. Honored representatives, Su Huang began, her voice calm but strong. 2 centuries ago my species was dying. We had destroyed our own planet through carelessness and greed. We deserved nothing. We expected nothing. Then the Valorn came and saved us. They asked for nothing in return. They simply said that all civilizations deserve a chance to learn from their mistakes. She paused, letting her words sink in. That single act of kindness changed everything. Humanity learned. We saved the Valorn when they needed us. We helped the Thrinn during their plague. And from there, the wave of compassion spread. Today, 47 species are part of this galactic union. 47 species who have chosen cooperation over competition, kindness over conquest. On the display, she brought up a star map showing hundreds of systems. But there are still species out there facing extinction-level events. Species that do not know help is available. Species that might die alone because they cannot reach us. Su Huang took a breath. This was the moment. I propose the Echoing Gratitude Accord, a treaty where every species commits resources to helping civilizations in existential crisis. Not just those we know, not just those nearby, but anyone, anywhere who faces extinction and calls for help. The chamber erupted in discussion. Representatives conferred with their governments. Debates broke out in dozens of languages and communication methods. A Nocton representative, its gas form swirling in its containment field, spoke through vibration. This would require significant resources, ships, personnel, technology. What if a species refuses to learn? What if they use our help to harm others? Then we deal with that when it happens, Su Huang replied. But we cannot let fear of misuse stop us from helping. The Valorn could have worried that humans might use their technology for war. Instead, they trusted us to be better. That trust was repaid. We must offer that same trust to others. A Threen elder clicked its mandibles thoughtfully. My species would not exist without this philosophy. We vote yes. Always yes. The Valorn representative, a being named Loon, resonated with harmonic approval. We have always done this work. Now we do it together. With many hands and many hearts. This is what we dreamed of when we first saved Earth. We vote yes. One by one, species declared their support. The vote took 3 hours. When it was done, the result was unanimous. All 47 species voted to adopt the Echoing Gratitude Accord. Su Huang felt tears in her eyes. 200 years ago, humanity had been alone and dying. Now they were part of a galactic community dedicated to making sure no one ever faced extinction alone. Across the galaxy, Song Pyo led the largest rescue operation in history. He commanded a fleet of 300 ships from 12 different species. Their target was a water world called Thalo, home to an aquatic civilization. A rogue asteroid was on a collision course with the planet, and the impact would boil the oceans and kill every living thing. The Pathalo had detected the asteroid, but lacked the technology to stop it. They had sent out a desperate message. This is Pathalo. We are going to die. Please, if anyone is listening, help us. The Gratitude Corps, now a massive organization of volunteers from dozens of species, had heard the call. Song Pyo had assembled the response team in less than a week. All ships, this is Fleet Command, Song Pyo said over the comm system. We have 48 hours before impact. Teams 1 through 5 will handle the asteroid deflection. Teams 6 through 10 will evacuate Pathalo civilians in case we fail. Teams 11 and 12 will provide support and coordination. Remember, we are here because someone once helped us. Now we help others. The operation was precise and beautiful. Valorn ships used their harmonic technology to alter the asteroid's trajectory. Human ships provided the computational power to calculate exact angles. Thrinn engineers modified the equipment in real time. Mokari telepaths coordinated the different species working together. Nocton beings used their understanding of gravitational fields to fine-tune the deflection. 46 hours later, the asteroid sailed past Pathalo, missing the planet by a safe margin. The oceans remained calm. The Thalo were saved. The Thalo leader, a cetacean-like being, spoke to Song Pyo through a water-to-air translator. You came from across the stars to save us. Species we never knew existed. Why? Song Pyo smiled. Because someone once showed kindness to a dying species called humans. That kindness echoed forward. Now it has reached you, and one day perhaps you will help someone else. We will, the Thalo leader promised. We will teach our children about this day. We will make sure the echo continues. On Earth, in a quiet office at the University of Geneva, historian Rena Jiang compiled her life's work into a single massive document. She called it The Echo, a history of galactic compassion. Rena had spent 30 years traveling to every species that had been helped by the gratitude movement. She had interviewed survivors, leaders, and the aid workers who had saved them. She had collected thousands of stories, each one showing how a single act of kindness could change everything. Her favorite story was about the Vorn, a species of small, fox-like beings who had faced a supervolcano eruption. The Gratitude Corps had evacuated their entire civilization to a new planet. The Vorn had been so moved by this that they had dedicated their society to creating art, celebrating kindness and cooperation. Their murals, sculptures, and songs were now famous across the galaxy, inspiring others to help and be helped. In her conclusion, Rena wrote, "The Valorn made a choice to save humanity. They could not have known what would follow. They could not have predicted that their act of compassion would reshape galactic civilization. But that is the nature of kindness. It echoes, it multiplies. It transforms everything it touches." The Galactic Union released Rena's work as a public document, translated into every known language. It became required reading for school children across dozens of worlds. Young beings of every species learned about the Valorn and Earth. They learned about the gratitude. They learned that the strongest civilizations were not those with the biggest weapons, but those with the biggest hearts. The philosophy had a name now. Beings across the galaxy called it the Valorn Principle. Help others without expectation of return, because someone once helped you. 308 species had been saved using this principle. 308 civilizations that would have gone extinct now thrived, and each one paid the gift forward, helping others in turn. Ambassador Su Huang stood one last time before the Galactic Union Council, at the end of her term as humanity's representative. She was old now, her hair white, her movement slow, but her voice was still clear. "When I was young," she said, "I learned about humanity's darkest hour, the hour when we thought we would die alone. But we were not alone. The Valorn came, and now no one in this galaxy has to face extinction alone. We have created something beautiful together. A civilization not of conquest or competition, but of compassion and cooperation." She looked at the Valorn representative, Loon, who had served alongside her for all 10 years. "Thank you," she said simply. "Thank you for saving us. Thank you for showing us who we could become." Loon's crystalline form glowed with warm light. The harmonics that filled the chamber translated to simple words. "Thank you for making sure the echo never stops." The chamber resonated with approval from every species present. The echo would continue. It would spread. It would reach every corner of the galaxy, and it had all started with one simple act of kindness to a dying species that had deserved nothing but received everything. 500 years had passed since the Valorn saved Earth. The galaxy was unrecognizable from what it had been. Elder Jin Ko sat in his garden on Earth, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and purple. He was 163 years old, kept alive by medical technology that combined human science with knowledge from a dozen different species. His body was old, but his mind remained sharp. He had been alive for most of humanity's transformation. He had been a child when the Valorn came. He had watched humanity learn to save others. He had seen the gratitude movement spread across the stars. And now in his final years he was about to witness something that would complete the circle. A young woman approached him on the garden path. She wore the uniform of the Galactic Union fleet, dark blue with silver stars. "Elder Jin," she said, bowing respectfully. "My name is Yeon-se. I am a pilot with the Memorial Fleet. I wanted to meet you before I leave on my mission." Jinko smiled. "The Memorial Fleet. You will be part of the ceremony at the Galactic Core?" "Yes, Elder. Representatives from all 308 saved species will be there. It will be the largest gathering in galactic history." "Good," Jinko said. "That is very good. Tell me, young pilot, do you know why the ceremony is so important?" Yeon-se sat down beside him. "To honor the Valorn for starting everything." "Yes, but more than that. It is to remember where we came from. To remember that we were once dying and alone. That memory keeps us humble. It keeps us grateful. It keeps us helping others." 3 days later, Yeon-se piloted her ship toward the Galactic Core. She was part of a fleet of thousands of ships from hundreds of species. They came from every direction, converging on a single point in space. At the center of the fleet was a massive structure. It had taken 50 years to build, a collaboration between every species in the Galactic Union. The structure was a perfect sphere, 3 kilometers in diameter, made of living Valorn crystal combined with human engineering and technology from countless other species. It was more than just a monument. It was a beacon that would broadcast a signal across the entire galaxy, a message of hope and help to anyone who might be listening. It would stand here forever at the heart of the galaxy, reminding everyone of what they had become. Taesung VII watched the construction's completion from his ship. He was the great-great-great-grandson of the first Admiral Taesung, and he had followed his ancestor into a life of service. But while the first Taesung had been a military commander, this Taesung was a mediator, someone who helped resolve conflicts between species peacefully. "It is beautiful," he said to his Valorn companion, a young crystal being named Rie. "It is more than beautiful," Rie resonated. "It is a promise that no one will ever face extinction alone again." The ceremony began. Representatives from 308 species gathered in their ships around the monument. Elder Jin Ko was there, brought from Earth for this moment. Ambassador Su Huang's granddaughter represented humanity in the formal proceedings. Descendants of the original Valorn who had saved Earth floated in their crystal ships. But then something happened that no one expected. A signal came from deep space. It was not from any known species. It was not on any frequency the Galactic Union used. It was ancient, powerful, and clear. "Attention, children of the galaxy. This is a message from the precursors. We are pleased." The echo continues. Every ship went silent. The precursors, the species that had saved the Valorn millions of years ago, the first ones. They were real and they were still out here. The message continued. "We have watched your progress 43 times. We have seeded the galaxy with acts of salvation. 43 times we hoped the gift would spread. 42 times it failed after a few generations. You are the first success. The Valorn saved humanity. Humanity saved others. Those others saved more. The echo has not stopped. It has grown stronger. This is what we dreamed of." On his ship, Elder Jinko felt tears running down his weathered cheeks. The precursors had been testing the galaxy, trying to find a species that would truly learn the lesson of compassion. The Valorn had been their 43rd attempt, and finally it had worked. "Where are you?" came a message from the Valorn ships. "Show yourselves, we wish to thank you." The response was gentle but firm. "We cannot. We exist beyond your current understanding. We have transcended physical form. But we watch, we hope, and now we are proud. The galaxy no longer needs us. It has you. Continue the echo. Help those who cannot help themselves. Be the kindness you once received." "Wait," the Valorn called out. "There is so much we want to ask you. You will have your answers in time. When your species, all of your species, reach the point we have reached, you will understand everything. Until then, keep growing, keep helping, keep being the light in the darkness. We could not be more pleased with what you have become." And then the signal was gone. For a long moment, no one spoke. The enormity of what they had learned was overwhelming. They were part of a test that had lasted millions of years. They were the success story that the precursors had hoped for. Elder Jin Ko was the first to break the silence. His message was broadcast to every ship in the gathering. Then we must not disappoint them. We must not disappoint ourselves. The echo must continue, not because the precursors are watching, but because it is who we are now. The monument at the galactic core was activated. It began to glow with light from every species that had built it. The Valorn crystal harmonics mixed with human energy signatures, Thrian bioluminescence, Mokari psionic waves, and hundreds of other contributions. The light was beautiful beyond description. On the surface of the monument, in the languages of 308 species, the same message was inscribed. They aided humanity once, and the galaxy still echoes with gratitude. The ceremony proceeded. Speaker after speaker told their stories. The Thrin spoke of their plague and salvation. The Thalo described the asteroid that almost destroyed them. The Vorn sang songs of the volcano that would have ended their civilization. 308 species shared their moment of salvation and their gratitude. When it was time for the human representative to speak, Su Huang's granddaughter stood before the assembly. Her name was Hana, named after the scientist who had first detected Earth's dying sun. 500 years ago, Hana said, my species was dying. We had destroyed our own planet. We expected nothing. We deserved nothing. Then the Velorn came and gave us everything. They showed us that intelligence is not just about building technology or conquering space. It is about compassion. It is about lifting others up when they fall. She paused, looking at the monument glowing before them. Today we honor the Velorn, but we also honor every species here. Every one of you has saved someone. Every one of you has been saved. We are all part of the Echo now. We are all responsible for keeping it going. On Earth, in schools and homes, billions watched the ceremony. Children of 100 different species learned about the Velorn and the precursors. They learned about the Echo that had saved the galaxy. A young human boy asked his teacher, a Thrin elder, will we keep helping others, even if the precursors are not watching anymore? The Thrin clicked its mandibles, and what humans had learned was a smile. We will help others because it is the right thing to do. We will help others because someone once helped us. That is reason enough. After the ceremony, Elder Jin Ko was taken to the monument. He was old and weak, and everyone knew he did not have much time left. But he had asked for one final request, to touch the monument with his own hands. They brought him in a small shuttle. Yonsei piloted it herself, honoring this man who had lived through humanity's entire transformation. Jinko floated in zero gravity to the monument's surface. His hand, wrinkled and spotted with age, touched the warm crystal. He felt the harmonics vibrating through it, the voice of every species that had been saved, the gratitude of an entire galaxy. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you, Velorn, for saving us. Thank you for believing we could be better. Thank you for starting the Echo. He died peacefully 3 days later, back in his garden on Earth. His last words were simple. Keep helping. Never stop. Yonsei returned to her duties with the memorial fleet, but she had been chosen for a special mission. She would command humanity's newest gratitude ship, the Echo itself. It was the most advanced vessel ever built, incorporating technology from every species in the Galactic Union. Her mission was to venture beyond the explored regions of the galaxy, to find species that did not yet know the Galactic Union existed, to offer help to those who might be facing extinction in the darkness of space, alone and afraid. As Yonsei's ship prepared to launch from Earth, she thought about everything humanity had become. 500 years ago they had been dying. Now they were saviors, not because they were the strongest species or the smartest or the most advanced, but because they had been shown kindness and they chose to pass that kindness forward. The Echo launched, accelerating toward the galaxy's edge. Yonsei sat in the captain's chair looking at the stars ahead. Sensors, start scanning for distress signals, she ordered. Communications, broadcast our message in all known languages. Let them know help is available.